Hey guys, I'm Matthew Duncan here with the Coin Shop Podcast, joined with my brother Kenny Duncan Jr., and we have a very special guest, Rob Oberth, here from CoinX. Today we're going to get into the virtual coin show, Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers, and we're going to talk a little bit about...
That's Rob Oberth joining us live today from CoinX. Rob, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing awesome, man. Glad to see you. Glad that you took some time out to talk to us today a little bit. You and I, we've built a friendship here the last couple of years, just connecting in the coin business, and I like a lot of the things that you do, and I like a lot of what you've done for the coin business since you've kind of come in and kind of broke into it, in kind of what I call like the digital age, kind of transformation where coin dealers, went from CCE and CD, which these platforms still have their place, but Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers just kind of completely changed the game, right? And it allowed small time dealers to connect with big time dealers. It really evened out the market on some things, and it really leveled the playing field and allowed a lot of people to play in which really they didn't have the platform to play in. And I love the idea from the beginning. I've been a big fan of it, a big proponent of its growth and supporter of its growth. And, why don't you tell us a little bit about the start of Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers and a little bit about what got you going in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, you guys were on really early. I think you were among the very first phone calls that I made, even before we started putting out email blasts and things like that. I think we called you guys direct. But, for me, it's one of those things that I am almost the poster child for a type of company that would benefit from a network like this, because I was not doing wholesale business at all. I was doing over-the-counter buying straight to retail, eBay, and things like that, and I didn't have connections with anybody. And I was around for 10 years before I even put this thing together and started connecting with all of these dealers, of which I knew zero before that. So, it gave me an opportunity to connect with everybody, and so maybe that helped, having my finger on the pulse of somebody who was in the need for that sort of program, that it inspired me to do it. And really is a good network for me. It changed my business completely.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, it changed a lot of people's business, I think. I see, and I won't get into some names, but I see guys who I think normally wouldn't have, some of these coin dealers are shy. They don't want to, a lot of them don't do shows, so like before, in order to network, you would have to go to a coin show, put yourself out there, go to, 4, 5, 6, some guys 10, you got some road warriors that go to 10, 20 coin shows a year, right? And really network and build their relationship that way.
Pass out your cards.
Yeah, pass out your cards, so like, what do you specialize in? I specialize in X. And then, then you start meeting guys, and then obviously then you start meeting retail customers based on your specialty. Yep. And then, Rob, your Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers kind of leveled that playing field. You're able to do that from the comfort of your own office, your home, your car, wherever. And
you're able to also build new customers that you wouldn't even have reached out to. Maybe you would have missed them at a coin show, or so you got that reach, right?
I've met some really cool people on Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers, and guys that I used to do business with, maybe through CCE, just talking on the phone, sending a package, getting a check, and just going on about my day. This gives you a better engagement, right? The engagement is just off the charts, and even for some of the old school guys, begrudgingly converted over, and I think it's helped them, maybe add an extra 5 or 10 years, to their business model, and where it's some guys maybe like a Rusty Aiken or a Ronald Ream or some of these guys would, maybe kind of retire, or but now they're they get a coin shop, they put it up there at a fair price, and they just get rid of it. They make their 10-15% or whatever they make, and
get
it's
their
over
liquidity
with.
and keep rolling.
A lot of these guys are a lot of these guys blame me for dragging them out of retirement.
I bet.
They're starting to wind down their businesses, and then they pop into this group, and they're like, Jesus, this is like,
can't do it.
It's too easy to make money. I can't not do it. And it's great, as far as people meeting on in a personal way versus some of the other platforms where it's hard to make the personal connection,
Sure.
like actually make friends with the people instead of the companies doing business together. That I still, every show I go to, even at this show here, I'm introducing people that have been on the same floor for 20 years and have never really met. And, the group kind of broke the ice for them, and they kind of know, okay, I know who this is now. But it's just shocking to me that you've got a couple hundred dealers on the floor for 20, 30 years, and some of them have never met.
Yeah. I agree, and it's kind of like, I think I saw Steve Vesley back there, his son Ian, I buy watches from those guys. They offer me coins. They offer me all kinds of weird stuff. And, it's amazing. I'll get, I can't tell you how many items I buy direct from Coin Dealer Stuff and Coin Dealers guys, and you too, right?
For
it's
sure.
We just get calls on stuff all the time, and so let's get into the nuts and bolts a little bit. So I mean, you can't just have the wild west, right? It can't just be the wild west. You can't just have every coin dealer that calls himself a coin dealer come in there and start trying to push their weight around. There's got to be some type of vetting process. Tell us a little bit about that vetting process.
So my vetting process has always been, my goal is to add people who are trustworthy traders, right? So I don't have, it's not an upper echelon thing. There's really not a limit as to how much, there's not like a net worth limit or anything like that. If they're trustworthy dealers and they're known and they have good references, then they're going to join, as long as they're moving numbers that make sense to join. You've got to be, my thing is, you got to be making a living on coins, or the numbers have to reflect something that proves that you're actually making money on coins, not a hobbyist. But we have groups for the hobbyists too. That's what Virtual Coin Show is.
Yeah, which, I was going to bring that up here a little bit later, and we'll talk a little bit about Virtual Coin Show. But in terms of CHCD, so you have a vetting process. You got an owners only group, which, basically we get a vote, a yay or nay. People share their experiences with, a certain individual or certain company about maybe something they may or may not liked about them in business past. You take that, you have a group of moderators, which is one of the things that I applaud you guys for the most, is how swift you guys are with decisions. You don't let people get over their skis too much, which is what I really like about it too. In the sense of where somebody might be going bad, especially in a market like this, where, a year and a half ago, everybody's riding high. You can't literally lose money in this business. Now things have leveled off a little bit. There's some uncertainty in the market. Hot coins are still hot. Good coins are still hot. But, some of the other stuff is, maybe not as hot as it used to be. Maybe that's just my opinion, but that's just what I'm seeing. Do you guys tighten up in a situation like this, knowing this is the kind of cycle of things, or what?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have your finger on the pulse, and I take my admin confidentiality very seriously. So if somebody, I encourage our members to cue me in to when, someone was a little slow, because I'm not going to hear them all. And you got to think that, where there's smoke, there's fire, or it just could be a one-off situation. But if I'm not hearing these things, then I can't keep people on the radar. So, there is nobody too big to fail in my eyes. It's, big, small, whatever. If you're messing around with other people's money and you don't respect other people's money and their business, then you just don't have a place here. So yeah, it's all about having respect. And that's what the people don't realize. They think, I get in a little financial trouble, kind of cut me some slack, which, if a dealer wants to one-on-one cut someone some slack, that's between them. But as far as the roundtable goes, we're not doing that, right? That's between them. But yeah.
That's where I think this group differentiates from a lot of other ones out there. Like, I think, there's a jewelers group out there that I'm a part of, Jewelers Helping Jewelers, but it's not moderated in the same way that this is. It's kind of a free-for-all. You get people who you can really just join without any vetting process. A lot of things go on behind the scenes that probably wouldn't fly in Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers. So again, I encourage any small dealers out there or guys that are looking to really, like you said, take it from a hobby to take it to an actual business model. Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers, to me, is the safest environment to do that. It just, I think you were talking a little bit about COVID earlier. I mean, expand on that part a little bit.
Yeah. So during COVID, you had a lot of dealers that were looking to do more business. Couldn't go to those shows because they're worried they're going to have you get COVID or
travel restrictions,
travel restrictions, and whatever was going on in their state. But Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers really opened that up for a lot of dealers where they could still get liquidity, still get and do their business and still buy on the counter and keep everything kind of going. I think that actually, like you said, Rob, was one of the things that kept a lot of people's shops going and doing continued business was being able to get on Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers, reach out, if they need anything for like a coin show where if you have a customer list that you were looking for coins or currency, you could do that through there.
Yeah. Can you share some experience from anybody that may have said something to you, during that time during COVID where, hey, without Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers, I might not have been able to make it because, I wasn't able to go to a show based on my state, or my travel restriction or my, vax or non-vax or whatever their choice is. A lot of coin shows weren't being had. Long Beach, there wasn't some Long Beaches, there were some Baltimores that were shut down. A lot of coin shows across the country were just put on pause. Did you have any stories, any people talking to you? Did you get good feedback about the group during that time?
Yeah, I mean, I experienced it myself personally. I mean, everything was shut down, so you had a 24-hour virtual coin show that was safe to do business with, and now it's not just safe financially, it's safe physically, right? Health-wise, it's a safe way to do business. So, with all the shows shutting down and us having to shut our shops down or limit people coming in, it was we I had a member say that he doesn't know if he would have survived, but he thrived in that market because of that group.
Wow.
I think we did see a big influx in material flowing through the group at that time because of that reason. And on top of that, prices were through the moon, so it was just a free for all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's hard not to make money in a market like that.
Yeah. No, you had to really, if you didn't make money in the coin business during that time, hopefully you learned something, and maybe in the future you will do better.
Be able to capitalize on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not a
sure.
slight to anybody. I just, it was a really exciting time, and they're still exciting. Things are exciting if you want to make them exciting. It's your commitment, right? I mean, if you're committed to make it exciting, then it's going to be excited. You know, the markets are going to come and go. They're going to go up like a roller coaster and come down even faster. And then, you have to figure out what's next, and you have to flex into it. And I think, Rob, you had your coin shop in Atlanta, right? Or in the outskirts of Atlanta. So, in Georgia, Atlanta-ish, right? Am I right?
In Marietta, Georgia. Yeah.
Marietta, okay.
Just outside of Atlanta.
Okay. So, you had that going. That's the Golden Coin Exchange, correct? And then,
yep.
And then Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers comes to fruition. Then Virtual Coin Show comes to fruition. Tell me a little bit about how your business personally expanded with Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers, and what about your overall presence? Just being a rad dealer, being kind of like the rad guy, rad being round table authorized dealer. How did that help expand your business?
We live in we are in a unique business where you can almost scale it up as far as you want to go, right? Because our inventory is small. We're not like a car dealership or real estate we can scale it up and people will come. We're a destination spot, just like you are. People will drive 100 miles if you have good reviews. They know they can trust you
all day.
So, our business, because you're asking how did it grow because of Roundtable and Coin Dealers Helping Coin Dealers?
Well, I'm just saying, being a rad dealer, you're part of a 800 or 900, collective of dealers that are all vetted and all, have good business trades and practices. And if somebody calls me and says, hey, I'm in Marietta, Georgia, I've got, a deal of 20s that I want to sell. I don't think it's smart for that customer to go try to put them in a box, overnight them to me. I'd rather just send them to Rob. Right. So does that help, and has that helped, and has it helped fuel, with branding and other things like that to be able to give your coin shop more, maybe make it just a little bit more make it more of a, I don't know, like you said, a destination.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely adds a layer of credibility, being part of the network and obviously my visibility, my personal visibility being the person who's running the network, it definitely brings a level of face recognition and brand recognition and viability to the business. So, but yeah, no, we've seen our numbers go up on top of the COVID increase. Just the roundtable increase in our numbers has been significant. We've had other dealers say that. We've had dealers go from 0 to 60 in just a couple of years. A lot of the names that are brand names to us that we know were, a lot of them were unknown 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So
no doubt. Okay, so let's go into a little bit of CoinX. So out of Coin Dealers helping Coin Dealers comes CoinX. Now, how many years has CoinX been going on, and how is CoinX right now today as you're sitting there?
So CoinX is the show that Scotsman has run for several years, and it's been a show that was run by a couple other organizations over the years as well. So it's not a new show; it's a rebranded show.
Okay.
So Mary reached out from Scotsman, and Jay and all those guys reached out a couple years, 2019, and said, "Hey, we like what you're doing. Do you have any interest in being a part of this show?" And I said, "Yes, I do." So, I thought that it needed a rebrand, bring it to life a little bit, and I think it's important. And we rebranded Virtual Coin Show once or twice actually over the years. So I think bringing in the right brand is super important, and that's what they did. And we sold out. We sold out every year since. So.
And how many tables at this coin show?
There's 140, I believe, at this show.
Okay. All right, and you said it's sold out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. And does it open? What's today? Thursday. It opens today to the public.
It's open to the public today till 6.
Okay. And how's public?
It's pretty good so far. Yeah, I think it's lively. There's definitely a lot of people on the floor for sure.
Good.
Looks pretty good.
And how's the pulse of business? Are people trading coins? Like, what's the how's the market?
That I have not had a good feel of. Yesterday we set up, and today we just got in this morning. So, but it looks active. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on for sure. I already sold a couple of coins this morning out of my showcase, and I'm not, I don't bring a lot of coins to the shows. So.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the shop. So, so one of the things we do on the Coin Shop podcast is try to help smaller coin shops out there, or, our listeners that are best pocket dealers or guys who are just kind of breaking into the business. Everybody seems to always want to talk about the wins, right? But for me, I'm more of a guy that I kind of want to talk about the losses, right? Because I feel like we learn more from our mistakes than we do from our wins, right? I think our wins are a product of the mistakes that we've made. Right. So I don't want to get on a podcast and grandstand about a bunch of wins. What I want to do is talk about some losses so we can figure out how to help other people not make the same mistakes, which hopefully leads to the path of success. So I'm going to bust your chops a little bit. I want you to tell me, give me some bonehead mistakes you've made and your guys have made at Golden Coins, at Golden Coin and Marietta, and let's shed some light on some of these mistakes.
Oh man, well, this
I want some good ones too. No candy coated stuff. I want some good ones.
I'm sure I've got some. Let me pull them out of my head. So, I grew this business from nothing. It was literally a backpack going to estate sales, turning into this. So I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a network. I didn't have any connections of any kind. It was just kind of going with my instincts and kind of following where I, sniffing around and following where I thought was going to be successful. And so I built, I didn't bring in ways to protect myself financially, and bookkeeping and all that came as I went. It wasn't all there the first day. So I'll tell you one time, I used to pay out a lot in cash. I still do. So one time I was paying this lady who happens to be a celebrity's wife that I met, and she has done a lot of business with me. I've sold her tons of coins, bought tons of estate items and things like that. And I always pay her in cash. So she comes in, sold me a bunch of gold proof sets one day. And I said, all right, here's your 5, 10, 15, 20,000, whatever it was. And gave her the stack, and she walked out the door. And this is really early on, probably 2008 or so. And she calls me maybe 20 minutes later and says, hey, Rob, how much did you give me? I said, it looks like it was like 20,000. And she's like, you gave me $10,000 too much. Cash.
Wow.
And I said, are you serious? Like my jaw dropped, my heart sunk. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I would never have caught it because my bookkeeping was not good at the time. I was just pulling money out and doing it and, whatever. And I'm not sure I would have caught it. So she called me up. She came back, handed me that 10 grand, put it right in my hand. And
Wow.
That was an inspiring moment. And I've had a lot of situations like that where, I'll forget to give someone their change, things like that, where I had $900 in my drawer for 3 weeks trying to find this customer saying, hey, I got your $900 here, things like that. But other mistakes other than that is just bad math. It's just buying fake stuff. Like I said, I kind of did all this figuring out on my own as I went. And I bought fake Rolexes. I bought bad diamonds. I bought fake gold for sure. I've done horrible math a lot of times by just working too fast.
Right.
So
sounds like almost every coin shop.
Yeah.
So now, you're everybody else. You're human. Okay. What installations do you put in place to stop it?
So as far as the bookkeeping side of it and the inventory control side of it, we've got everything goes through 3 or 4 hands. So I'm not doing a deal all by myself. I don't put cash in the drawer by myself. I don't pull cash out. When I say that, I meant bringing cash in from the bank and putting it in the drawer or pulling it out. Like I'm going to go do a deal, $1,000, that's fine. But anything that we're selling is photographed. It's audited by a secondary trader. So we've got our 2 or 3 main traders, and then we've got our backup staff who everybody touches the deal. So that deal gets counted 3 times, right? So we do the math on the screen. Somebody signs off on all the math. Somebody signs off on all the material. And then our final checkout is actually signing it all out and going over all the math with the customer and then bringing in the material, right? And then another thing that we do to be careful is we never have the cash and the material at the counter at the same time. It's the cash comes in, we take it to the back, we get the material, we audit it, cash stays back there, now the material comes up. So the cash is never in front of the customer with the material at the same time. And we've got others. I mean, we've got cameras that are just state of the art. Like you can go back and see anything at any time.
We have 42 cameras in our store, inside our store. It's basically casino-esque.
And it's not enough, is it?
No, it's not enough. And it's funny because, we've grown, over the last couple of years, and we've added a lot of employees, which, have made some errors. And I want to go back to your very first thing, accounting. Guys, ladies, business owners, potential business owners, people getting into the business, accounting. You cannot have enough accounting, and double checking and verifying. Before you write a check for 20 Krugerrands, somebody else needs to double check those Krugerrands, and someone else needs to make sure that the price is right, the spot price that you're paying above or back or whatever that number is. You need two sets of hands and eyes on that deal, right? I don't care how big you are. It's good to have. We went to a double sign check system, between Matt and I. We've got another check signer on the floor over a certain amount. Even as we continue to grow, again, I'm not going to sit on my laurels about these wins. I am going to be devil's advocate and try to figure out, okay, how can we keep a mistake from happening? And that's the mindset I keep. I hate to be, it's not negative Nancy. It's more just, it's kind of, I want to be preventative rather than reactive. So I like to ask,
you don't want to be, there's a certain type of person that's like, you know what, you just got to move on to your mistakes and forget about them, don't dwell on them. But it sounds like you and me are a little bit different in that you want to remember those mistakes because that's how you learn.
They burn,
right?
Yeah, mistakes burn.
You
they
forget
fire
about
me up. They fire me up, and I don't bring them up like old ghosts to rub it in people's faces. It's a learning experience, and then we build installations around them to prevent them from happening again. A lot of times we went through a phase where people would try to keep me out of hearing about the mistakes that were happening on the floor. And I'm like, listen, guys, you guys are not doing me any favors by keeping me out of it. Because if I find out that I didn't hear about it, I'm going to be 10 times more pissed. And because I wasn't able to give my input on how we can
problem solve it.
Yeah, exactly. We can try to work it out, right?
Yeah.
So, no, that's some really good information. I appreciate you you sharing those because, again, a lot of people, they like to just talk about the wins,
Yeah, well, you always forget the losses.
I don't.
The wins, I mean, you always forget the big. You always forget your wins, but you never forget the losses.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's a good point. Hey, good job.
Yeah.
Fist bump
Appreciate
on that
that.
one. I like that one. See?
Yeah.
Maddie coming through
Yeah,
with a good
I like
one
the
there.
idea too with the bins, because you keep the deal all together, you take it to the back, and then it goes to inventory and gets breakdown.
My key phrase is real time. I like to stay in real time, right? So like you said, the deal gets purchased up front. Before it gets funded, it goes to the back. It's checked by a third set of eyes, and then it's funded by another person who double checks it. That's just the way. Now, I don't know how many transactions you're doing in your shop a day. We're doing a substantial amount, so we've had to expand our staff.
Not putting coins on the back counter, right? Because then those coins, there's trash cans by the back counter.
My biggest pet peeve.
Coin falls in the trash can, you can't find it. That's a problem.
That's the thing about setting up these policies, and it might take years before the new hire figures out why you're doing those things, right? That's like, they got to trust that. Oh, why you can't put trash cans there? You can't do that because
and they look at you with this blank face.
You're gonna drop
a coin.
They're like, oh, I don't get it.
It sounds like micromanaging, but
That's why we have a metal detector that we will wand.
Yeah, we have a metal detector.
Our trash.
We wand every trash bag
just to make sure that there's nothing that might have fell or.
Smart.
Yeah, I don't let
it happens.
I'm gonna take notes from you guys.
We have a staple. Listen, we have a staple rule. Like so all deals get broken out. So like say like the deals that come in flips, we break all that stuff out. So no flips can go to the back counter. To the back inventory room. So if you've got an album of 90% dimes that are all Roosevelt garbage, 90% junk dimes, all of our guys have to pick them out. All the metal, so all the staples have to go in one trash can, and then we have another trash can that has no metal. So when we scan it, it's easy to throw out, and then the ones that we know that contain metal, then we can go through them real quick to make sure there's no coins in it. So we're very proficient on that. We're not going to listen. Everybody works too hard, and if I'm going to give my money away, I'm going to give it away to people and charities that I pick, not the trash can, not the trash can or some hobo down the street that doesn't deserve it. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing that.
Which you do, you're kind of low key on it, but you put out a lot of money to charity. So well, I know we're not here to talk about you, but I've seen you put out.
Well, I don't. Yeah, but
significant amounts.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's pins for. It's all a growing process, man.
Well, you're paying towards future pins, then. You're buying ahead.
So all right, so we went over some shop mistakes, the growing pains, obviously. Like with the new guys, the growing pains. It's funny you said just trust me, and I tell that to a lot to my staff. Just trust me, okay? Don't second guess me. Don't ask me. I don't need to hear your rebuttal or your ideas about why you think it's a bad idea. Just trust me. I've seen it. I've been there, and it's not going to happen if you do it this way. Maybe we could do it another way, but for now, it's not up for discussion. Yeah, we'll talk about it in the first quarter.
It's not
there's a time and place.
There's time and place. Yeah, and it's not like the 20 Krugerrands. It's more like when they buy, 5 quarter ouncers, 10 half ouncers, and some 10th ouncers, and that's when the mistake starts coming.
And then they pay.
I paid for a half of an ounce. Instead it was 3 quarters or.
Do you do a daily gold count?
We do, yeah.
So do we, yeah. And a lot of times you'd be amazed by,
I think we do it 3 times a week.
We're over 5 quarter ouncers and under, 5 half ouncers, and somebody, bought, it's just like, dude. And then we have to end up sending out checks, and that's the worst phone calls. Like, sorry, my guys basically made a mistake that cost you, $2,500, and people are shocked. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you would actually do that. I'm like, why wouldn't we do that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we pay you? That's not how we want to make money.
That's a double-edged sword too, because it kind of
takes a little.
Even though you're doing that, well, it adds credibility, but it also what else? What other mistakes that might have there been? I've been to you guys 45 times.
Yeah, and that has come up, but believe it or not as much as you would think. We do definitely take precaution when we do that, and you have to have the right person deliver it. And a lot of times it's me or Matthew that just does a really good job. I'm not going to have the counter guy do it because they're going to fumble over their words a lot. But it's like, hey, listen, this is who I am. You know who I am. You know this is our family business. We made an honest mistake. We want to make it right. I can assure you, I look back at your other deals, everything, your last 4 or 5 deals, everything's panned out. So this is a one-time deal. Hope you can forgive us. And 99% of the time they take it and they're appreciative and they keep going.
That's right.
I remember one time I was breaking down a bunch of coins, and there was these blue velvet boxes, open it up, and there's like 1.85 eagle set in there. And that's how I worked it up. So I was just, but at the end, we're starting to write the tickets up. It goes to pay, to get paid, and I'm breaking down and throwing away boxes, and I open it up, and there was another 1.85 gold eagle set underneath the first one. Yeah. And this was just as the lady had her hand on the door, and I screamed. I said, ma'am, hold on. Give me a second. So I had to re-audit the whole deal to make sure I missed that, and I did miss that. And she got an extra at the time. Who knows, $3,500 or whatever it was. It feels like it was around that number. And she cried, she just she lost it right there on the floor. Yeah.
Speaking of that, and I'm going to give you this as a pro tip, guys. Write this down because this is going to be a good 20 seconds. This is a pro tip, okay? On OGP material, always check the inside of the velvet, especially on Silver Eagle boxes. In the last year, we found sovereigns, quarter-ounce eagles, 10 francs, 20 francs, and underneath the capsule velvet. So, Grandpa bought it, would slide a sovereign in there, maybe didn't tell anybody. And then when you're breaking the caps out, or, if you're sending them to grading and you're, kind of breaking things down, we found 5 coins this year. So we don't know who they came from, so we just donated the money. But because you can't draw it back to whose they were, because they just, you have 500 or 600, proof Silver Eagles sitting there. Yeah. Once you decide you have time to break them down, you can't go back and say, oh, this was, John Smith's or Bill Jones or whatever. We just write a check, donate the money, and, hopefully we don't have any bad karma or bad juju from it.
Hopefully the coin gods.
Yeah, we don't want to. I don't want to disrupt any gods. So we try to stay clear of that. Let's talk a little bit about moderation of coin dealers helping coin dealers. I mean, just give me a brief. I mean, because again, listen, that's one of the things, and I've actually, unprovoked, have pumped up Roundtable and you in probably 30% of the podcasts that have aired so far, because I'm such a believer in what it does. When you get a small dealer from Tennessee who buys a complete dollar set, can either auction it, which I'm glad you brought the auctions back to the main groups, because it hurt my feelings that you did move it out there for some time. But when you bring those auctions in, a guy can, if he doesn't know how to grade coins, let's just say it. Let's just put it out there. There's some coin dealers that don't really know how to grade coins, right? Sorry.
And they're still coin dealers, right?
Yeah, they're still coin. Oh, of course.
Everyone's at a different level.
Yeah, no, you don't have to grade. I mean, you don't have to be, a Jason Carter or a Kenny Duncan Sr. or a Jack Hertzberg or some of these guys that are known for their good eyes, right? But you can be, a normal guy, but, you throw a couple BU dollars in there, you're going to have some people take shots. You put it in an auction, and and it's it's as is. I love it. I love that part about it, is that, you can gamble all you want. You can, and I've done it. I've gambled on some stuff, and I've made some hits. I've taken some L's, and, but it's all averaged out. But sure. I mean, how do you guys moderate? I think Bjorn. I mean, give me. You guys. I just think you guys moderate the hell out of that group. I just think you guys do such a good job of keeping everybody even keeled. And it wouldn't work without it. I mean, honestly, it would crash and burn without it. I mean, let's just be honest. So tell me a little bit about how you lead that team.
So I believe that the group should run itself. So I'm not on there, and nobody is on there looking for things to go after somebody about. We don't do that at all.
Of course.
It just runs. And if a complaint comes to us, kind of tell me your side, tell me what's going on. And then you, as a member, you have to say specifically that you want to bring this to moderation, right? If you're just telling me about it, I do appreciate hearing that, and I will take note of it. But if there's a problem, unless it's a serious problem that's going to hurt other members, I'm not going to step in, and I'm not going to bring it to moderation, and I'm not going to try to work the deal out, because I do have confidentiality. Confidentiality is default. Everything you say to me is confidential, period.
Yeah.
That's why I need you to tell me you want me to bring it forward.
I've even tried to get some stuff out of you, and as close as we are, you still haven't been able to tell me some stuff.
Yeah. But the moderators hear it all. They hear everything they need to hear, and we got I think we're up to 14 moderators, maybe.
Yeah.
But basically how it works now is we just had a change of policy. So we have our terms and guidelines, and I call them terms and guidelines, not rules and laws. This is kind of how we want it to run. these are things that can get you in trouble if you go outside of it. It's basically about screwing with other people's money. And just try to stick to these terms and guidelines. And if there's anything in here that you want to trump as far as payment in advance or anything like that, you can do that, but you just got to have full transparency on your
front
post.
Right.
Yeah. So we used to bring everything into the moderator group, and all of us would discuss everything, right? And we'd try to make a call on what's going on. Sometimes we do it in an hour, and sometimes it takes 7 days of deliberation, depending on what it is. But now we do it a little bit differently in that we break off into small groups. So now we've got 3 to 5 members that break off and discuss an issue and come to a resolution. And if I'm in that group, I'm going to be part of that decision. If I'm not in that group, I will trust the decision that they make, because they will make the right decision every time. These guys are good.
Yeah, I agree.
They're really good at what they do.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's talk a little bit about your ANA governor. Let's talk a little bit about summer seminar. What's coming up? What can we expect? Kind of what's your plan as governor? Like what's the 5-10 year outlook? I'll ask you the same question I asked John Albanese last week. What is the 5 to 10 year outlook of coin dealers helping coin dealers? What about roundtable trading? And what about, your own personal aspirations about what you want to do for this hobby? And what's your goal in expanding into this hobby, trying to get new collectors in, trying to build up the ones that are already a part of it? Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, I do want to see the hobby grow, and I did run for governor of the ANAs to see how that organization works and how I can help promote the hobby. I'm a governor that represents the members, right?
Of course.
There's not necessarily representing the ANA, so I'm here to represent the members to the ANA. So I want to come up with programs. I want to do things that help inspire the hobby and bring in more collectors and dealers. And I think that my focus has been on promoting dealers, because I feel like there's a trickle-down effect. The stronger you are, the stronger, the more collectors you're going to build over time, because frankly, we're the ones on the ground creating collectors every day, right? Yeah. You hand a kid a coin, or you help a guy put a set together. You talk to a guy who's buying a lot of bullion and he finds interest in coins. You start talking about the coins. Collectors are born every day, and that can expand generationally. So I think my opinion is that I want to continue to help dealers. I want to expand probably off of Facebook, which I'm still working on for the roundtable. And I want to help wherever I can. And that's why I accepted an invitation last year to instruct at Summer Seminar, teaching with Steve Ellsworth, his Business of Being a Coin Dealer class. And I talked to you about that, and maybe you can discuss what's going on there.
Yeah. So I think Miles Standish and I are going to actually be a part of that too. So we accepted that invitation. And so we'll be at Summer Seminar and looking very forward to that. And obviously grateful for the invite and excited to be a part of that. It's going to be cool.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you wanted to announce that. So yeah, that's basically what's happening is that I have taken over the course from Steve. He handed it over to me, and having Kenny Jr., Miles Standish, and John Mabin and myself being 4 co-instructors, I think it's going to be cool. And it's early. We can't talk a lot about it because you and I have not even started discussing the
classes and
structure yet or anything like that. Yeah. So there's a lot to do, and that we can talk about that later. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's an important class. Very important.
I agree. Yeah, and we want to make sure that we're able to get kids there that, expanding the hobby is the number one thing to me. I mean, it's just something that, my dad has always wanted to do. It's what we've done in the store. It's like you said, you give a kid a coin, it could change his entire career path. You take a guy like Wade Spencer, who came in our store at 10 years old, and just, you could tell right off the bat that he had an affinity for coins, right? He was different in terms of, he was always looking for value and always, doing his homework. And then, you know, and again, you're into this digital age now where all this information's at your fingertips. You can get, you know, you can pull up any auction record from probably 2001 and up. And then if you really want to get into it, you can call a guy like Jeff Garrett, who could tell you probably what coin traded and what stacks auctioned in 1976 or something, you know, off the top of his head. So, you know, you've got a resource, and Coin Dealers allows you to connect with that person immediately, right? And just what a cool deal, you know, what a great venue for that, you know, where you get a kid who's 15 years old, who's backed by his dad, who says, hey, listen, I'm going to back my son with a business. He's got a checkbook. It's a big checkbook. He's going to make some mistakes, but he's going to make some deals. But whatever he does, he's going to make good on whatever deal he does. And I'm going to personally guarantee it. And then he can link him with a guy who's got, you know, basically red book recognition, and that helps, you know, and writes 100 greatest coins books. It's kind of what a cool thing that's been connected, right? I really just, I can't say enough about how great it is for the hobby. You see,
we're already, what's interesting about that is, we've got some new kids coming in, under 18 coming into the group, right? And we're letting them trade, and we're letting them help with the tag team and things like that. But you've also got guys like the Hughes brothers are right behind me, who came into the group when they were minors, you know, 5-6 years ago. Now here they are with tables. They're well-known brands. So we're starting to see that turnover happening already, just even within our group that's only been around for 5 years. Yeah, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, the Jack and James Hughes, right? The two twin brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, good kids. Yeah, a lot of good kids. Well, cool. So, you know, we've talked a little bit about the moderation. You know, again, I love how you guys just kick the slow pay and the no pays out so fast. I just love that, because some people drag their feet on
We have to announce it.
Yeah,
you do.
We have to announce it.
Put those people on blast.
It's important.
Put those slow pays on blast. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just
it's not really to punish them. It's to let our members know.
Let them know. Yeah.
You've got to protect your people, man. Yeah. You've got to protect the. You have a duty to do so, and you don't candy coat it, and I love that about it. You know, just put those slow pay guys on blast. I'm sorry if you're that guy, but just don't be a slow payer. You know, take care of your business. You know, don't float money.
It's not your money. It's not your money, man.
Don't float it, dude. You know, just make good deals, and there's plenty of good deals out there. You know, just got to work hard. It's pretty simple equation. All right, man. Anything else that we said we were going to talk about that we didn't? You got any questions for us? You going to come see us soon?
I think we covered. Yeah, definitely. Y'all carve out some time. I guess we're getting into the holidays here, so it might be a little tough. But I'll come out there. I do need to get out there anyway. So.
All right, cool. You're always welcome. Hopefully one day we can talk about bringing a coin show to Houston.
There you go.
I think you and I have talked about it, you know, like kind of, you know, just in passing. But, you know, I think it's something that has to happen. You know, we got a lot of collectors here in Houston, and just, you know, the shows in Houston are just, you know, you've got the Houston Coin Club that does a pretty decent one out in Conroe once a year. But once a year in the fourth largest city, you know, I think we can do better, right? We can do better.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great hub. Obviously easy to get in and out of there, so I don't see any real reason why you couldn't.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Coin Show 2023 coming to Houston. Big, large, and in charge. All right.
If you got someone like Mary Woodside, like Scotsman has here, then who can run it and knows what they're doing, then All
right. Well, we might have to reach out to make it happen. Rob, I want to thank you very much for taking your time at CoinX, man. Rob Oberth from CoinX, also Roundtable. Just a good guy overall, guy who's broke into the business and, in my opinion, changed the game for the better. We're glad to have him on, and thank you guys for